portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
A one-day regional conference was held today focusing specifically on regional compliance with the United States' Foreign Accounts Tax Compliance Act, or FATCA. The goals, policies, and implementation of the act was discussed immediately following this morning's opening ceremony.
Now, Financial Services Minister Ryan Pinder said the Bahamas has already held several discussions with the private sector on FATCA, noting that the Bahamas and the region have a responsibility to fulfill all FATCA obligations for their full implementation. Minister Pinder revealed that a FATCA advisory committee was formed here earlier this year.
This FATCA advisory committee had the mandate to review FATCA requirements and make recommendations for research and ultimate discussion and negotiation on matters particularly sensitive and relative to the financial services industry here in the Bahamas. It was this FATCA advisory group of the private sector representatives who would partner with my ministry, the Ministry of Financial Services, to prepare for the beginning of the negotiations with the United States under FATCA. This FATCA advisory group prepared a strategy document for the government to consider in its preparation.
Now, Minister Pinder also emphasized the need for local and domestic delegates to absorb as much information as possible from the workshop, as most regional governments have a unique financial opportunity to take advantage of.
The costs of compliance for FATCA, both to the governments and the private sector, is a significant cause of concern throughout the entire region, with many not truly understanding the scope of what might be required. This includes the cost of internal preparation for FATCA and the costs related to the educational needs that might exist.
Now, the International Tax Council with the United States' Treasury Department, Danielle Rolfs, identified certain aspects of FATCA that will affect the Bahamas during her presentation this morning. She confirmed that the Treasury Department has already issued 3 notices and compiled 550 pages of input from the international financial community. She outlined 2 significant challenges facing FATCA.
Understandably, both financial institutions and foreign governments have expressed concerns about the burdens imposed by FATCA relative to what they see as the potential benefits. In response, we have sought from the beginning to minimize burden to the extent that we can, consistent with the objective of combating the use of offshore accounts to evade U.S. tax. We recognize that the industry had much to contribute, and we have held extensive consultation with industry in that regard.
Well, there's a new slate of officers now sitting at the helm of the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence. Just last week, members of the esteemed body held an election of new officers at the JCNP head office on Festival Place. Incumbent Chairman Silbert Ferguson was re-elected as the JCNP's chairman. Gary Russell, leader of the Music Makers, is the vice chairman. Ivan Thompson is secretary. Assistant secretary is Wendell Francis, and Trevor Pratt is now the public relations officer. Chairman Ferguson not only welcomed his new team into one of the most important entities in the country, but thanked members of the JCNP for supporting his leadership through the years. Mr. Ferguson says now that elections are over, it's time to do the work of Junkanooers.
We will do the work in the time it needs to be done. Our main objective is to ensure that we keep the Junkanoo community together. That is the #1 priority. Our #2 priority is to make sure that we continue to make our JCNP financially stable. And it's going to take the efforts of all of us who are sitting around the table tonight to make that happen.
All right, coming up in sports, strikes.
Yes, strikes. The bowling championships are back in Nassau. We've got the highlights. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment for Trinidad and Tobago, Senator Vasad Bharat, says the Economic Partnership Agreement, or EPA, can be a valuable tool in unlocking the economic value of cultural industries and sporting sectors of CARIFORUM nations. One of the first signs for potential benefit for CARIFORUM nations benefiting from the EPA is the upcoming soccer friendly between the British Premier League Tottenham Hotspurs and the Jamaican national team, the Reggae Boys. The matchup will be played in Nassau at the National Stadium in May. Tourism officials are projecting an estimated income of more than $1 million following Carifta 2013 held in Nassau last week. The economic impact, according to the Director of Sports Tourism, Tyrone Sawyer, extend beyond hotel rooms and meals. Transportation, car rentals, and the local tourist hotspots saw robust business over the Easter holiday weekend. With over 2,000 hotel room nights consumed by Carifta travelers, sports tourism officials are optimistic about the upcoming Chris Brown Bahamas Invitational this weekend and the Hotspurs Reggae Boys matchup next month. And Warren Buffett is one of the world's richest men, ranking number 3 on the latest Forbes poll of world's billionaires. The businessman and investment guru can add another title to his impressive resume, voice actor. Buffett will be the main voice of an animated cartoon series called The Secret Millionaires Club. The series will be released on DVD and will give children advice, tips, and strategies for managing money. Other voices in the series will include NBA great Shaquille O'Neal and rapper Jay-Z. The DVD series hit shelves in March and are available on Amazon.com. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain.